Karl, would you mind handing me a hand blender, please?
Oh, yes. Now, Steve, because you are a good colleague, I am going to entrust you with my very favorite hand mixer.
You've got to be kidding. And where did you get this antique from?
I beg your pardon. This Iona hand mixer happens to be a cherished family heirloom. I was beating stiff peaks with this when I was 10.
And who was that from? Noah?
You obviously have no respect for tradition. And whatever it is you're beating, I will not be having any.
And who said I was offering?
Yum, 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 yum.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to another edition of One Chef One Critic. I'm Karl Wells, food critic for The Telegram.
And I'm Chef Steve Watson of Central Dairies.
Well, Steve, there are all kinds of blenders, all shapes and sizes, but the blender has become quite a useful tool in the modern kitchen, hasn't it?
Indeed it has, Karl. And my wife, she loves making soups, and although she is a baker as well. And the beautiful part about when she makes the soups on there and she wants to blend them, it is using the hand blender. And rather than taking the soup from the stove and putting it into a Robocool like this, you can do it already on the stove right there, and it keeps everything nice and clean.
Yeah, that's a heavy-duty one, isn't it?
Actually, this one is a commercial one. Or you
Okay.
can get the domestic.
So this is what they would use in restaurants, I guess.
Absolutely, and in my home.
So if you had like cooked veg in the soup and you wanted a pureed soup, this would pretty much
Absolutely,
do
Karl.
the same job that a regular blender like that would.
It would indeed.
That's great. Okay, well, thank you, Steve, for that. And coming up on the program today, our guest is Glen Carter, the co-anchor of the NTV Evening News. Glen is also an author of thriller novels. His latest is called Last Witness, and we'll be speaking with him about that and much more. What are we cooking?
We're going to be making some beautiful breaded lamb chops with a curried mint sauce.
Oh, I love lamb. And Chef Adam Gollop of Saltwater Restaurant will be with us to do a fabulous appetizer, so stick around. For a complete listing of One Chef One Critic recipes, wine lists, and more, check out our website. Let us know what you think of the show at 757-9600. And we are back and delighted to welcome Glen Carter, co-anchor of the NTV Evening News. Great to have you on the show, Glen.
It's wonderful to be here between such talented people.
Why,
It
thank
means
you.
so much to me, and I know that we're going to have something magical created here today.
I'll slip you the $20. Steve, what are we going to be making? Well, that looks like lamb.
This is beautiful, and I heard that you had lamb a little while ago, and so I thought about the menu, and what we've got here, Glen, is some beautiful lamb chops. We're going to bread them, and we're going to make them with a curried mint sauce, and Karl's going to stir fry some peppers there for an accompaniment.
Okay.
So let's get started. I'll put a little bit of oil in there, and I'm going to get you to fry them off once we get going there.
You're going to get me to fry it?
Absolutely. We've got a set of tongs there for you,
right.
and I'll bread them and put them in the pan, and then you can
You're a
do
man
your
of
magic.
great faith, I think,
Absolutely, absolutely.
Glen, I just want to show your book. First off, this is Glen's latest. It's called Last Witness. Your first book was called Angels of Maradona, and this is not a follow-up, but the same characters are in this book as with the first.
Exactly, yeah.
Now, I think a lot of people will be surprised to know that you're a writer of thriller novels. We all know you, of course, as a journalist, but how did that come about?
I've always had a love affair with words, and when you work in news, you're constricted and restrained, of course, by the you have to stick with the facts.
That's right. Yeah.
But when it comes to writing fiction, I wrote an article about it once, and what I said was, when you're working for news, it's like you're an airline pilot. You have responsibilities to passengers.
Right. Yeah.
You have to get from point A to B in a safe fashion. But when you're writing fiction, it's like climbing aboard an acrobatic aircraft. You can spin and dive and do whatever you want without worry of adhering to the rules. And that's essentially why I got into writing fiction. I found it so enjoyable.
Well, I have to say, you do an absolutely fabulous job.
Thank you.
Trying to keep the smoke away from your face here. I think we had the stove a little bit too high. But, yeah.
It smells good.
It does smell good. So, when you when you were a callow youth, I mean, did you enjoy reading thrillers? I mean, did you always have a Ken Follett book up to your face?
Yeah, I mean, I've always had a strong interest in reading and reading the real thing. Books, you know what I mean? I mean, we're changing now. Things are getting more electronic and digital. But to me, the feel, the smell of a good book.
Yeah, it's in your hand, isn't it?
It's in your hand. Yeah, and I hope that never disappears, frankly. Right?
I hope so too.
Yeah, and as a kid, I mean, I maybe read a little too much. You know, when the lads would ask me to come on out and do something, I thought, well, I'm in the middle of a good book right now. Of course, I was the weirdest kid on the block, right?
Well,
but it came from that.
Yeah. You know what they say? I'm not saying you were a nerd, but they say, be careful how you treat the nerds, because one day they're going to end up being your boss, right?
Well, you know, I wear that like a badge of honor.
That's right.
That's fine, believe me.
Yeah.
Glenn, while that's cooking there, just put some onions in there. You can stir them as well. Okay. You can multitask. And into that, I'm going to add some cumin and some turmeric. Okay. And that's going to be the starting of our mint sauce for the curried mint sauce for the.
Okay. What temperature are these onions on?
This is on about a medium, and this is on a low heat because I don't want to burn the breadcrumbs on the lamb. So, unlike Karl, I had a little bit too much heat there, didn't I?
Karl was a little too rambunctious.
Yeah. But I think it's under control now.
Yes, absolutely.
When will I know that these lamb chops need attention?
Just about another minute, and then we'll start flipping some of that to frying there.
Sounds good.
That's good.
So, Glenn, why that particular genre, the thriller novel? Is it because that's what you like to read?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so you felt you knew.
Yeah, I mean, I'd read so much of them. I said, and one day I think I said to myself, I can do this.
Sure.
So one day I sat down, I was talking to my wife at the time about writing a book, and I'd been talking to her for weeks. And she said, look, will you stop talking and just start writing?
Yeah.
So I did. I sat down and started pecking away at the ending of the novel first, which is what I like to do.
You started with the ending?
The ending, yeah. Wrote the ending, and then started to write a couple of pages a day, and after about 2 months, 3 months, I said, I think I'm going to print this sucker off. So I printed it off, and it looked like a novel.
Yeah.
And I said, oh my, you know, this is going to be a book. Yeah. And it was encouragement for me to continue.
That's excellent. Yeah. That's excellent to hear.
Yeah, so one over now, and let's have a look. Yeah, let's try it. Let's have a look. Oh, it's coming on beautiful. Yeah, nice and golden brown.
So does that, the rest of them, perhaps?
Absolutely.
And if we tip the pan a little bit, we'll get the oil.
Good idea.
Underneath some of these.
I think the house is on a slant.
I think I've already learned something about gravity.
Where do the ideas come from?
The first one, that book, Angels Maradona, came from one line. There was a line that kept running through my head. I won't tell you what the line was.
Okay.
And strangely, the line never made it into the book.
Oh, okay.
But it just came from that one line.
Wow.
That's sort of the genesis of what that line meant to me.
Yeah.
Created this 500-page manuscript.
Oh, amazing.
And the second one, Last Witness, was I was watching a documentary on the assassination of JFK one day, and they referred to this woman known as the Babushka lady. This was a woman in Dealey Plaza who took pictures, and although they got the film and photographs from everyone who was there, they never, and to this day, don't know who she was. So I said, what a wonderful story idea. Let's find out fictionally who she was. Let's create a story around her, create protagonists who find her, find the material that she brings to the table in terms of the conspiracy theory, and go from there. And what the book does is it goes from the assassination 50 years later to another plot to assassinate another president. Same people involved.
And for those who may not be familiar with the term, babushka lady simply refers to Russian women of a certain heft and who wore bandanas. And
I like the way you say that, heft.
This particular woman in Dealey Plaza was wearing a bandana.
That's right, that's right.
That's right.
Grab this and turn that over, not having much luck, but that's okay.
Oh, no, that's fine.
But you know, it's fascinating, now that you're talking about the Kennedy assassination and that being sort of the jumping off point for the novel, I had forgotten that they never did find her.
No.
They had no idea who she was or where she came from, which was incredible considering they did track down every single other person. So there must have been some theories that were developed over the past 50 years about her.
Who she was, you mean?
One woman. Anybody ever research it?
Well, one woman came forward and claimed to be the babushka lady. Her name was Beverly Oliver. And she was a stripper in one of Jack Ruby's strip clubs. it was discounted very quickly.
Oh,
though.
okay.
There's no way it could have been her.
She was looking for fame.
Absolutely.
And
Beyond the
story in the National Enquirer, and $100,000 or something.
There we go.
Yeah. That's interesting.
Looks
well,
good.
It looks like everything's under control.
Yeah.
So I'm going to duck down to the wine cellar and get a bottle of wine to go with this. I'll be back.
Perfect, Glen. They're just going to golden brown. It'll be golden brown in another couple of minutes. We'll just add a little bit of mint sauce into the sauce there with the cumin.
What else is it? I'm sorry, that's mint sauce?
Mint sauce, yeah.
Yep.
I'm just adding it to there. So, and mint always goes well with lamb.
Yeah.
You know, so it's great accompaniment. I think with that cumin in there, though, the curry flavour
looks wonderful.
It's going to go very, very well, especially with the peppers. And there we go.
You are a very talented man.
We try.
Hello, Andrea.
Hi, Karl.
Well, we have, I'm thinking, as I was walking down here, I was thinking this may be a little bit of a challenge for you. We have lamb today, which is, you know, a standard kind of dish, but it's being served with a curry mint sauce. So what challenges does that pose?
Yeah, it changes things a little bit, right? Because and there's also some sweetness in the curried mint sauce.
Yes.
So you've also got to think about that with the dish. There's a little bit of heat in the spice.
Right.
So number one, you don't want anything that's too high in alcohol, because any alcohol, if it's high in alcohol content, it's going to increase the heat of the dish, just the way it feels in your mouth. And also you don't want anything too acidic because of the sweetness.
Yeah.
So, but then we've got meat. So we're I've got 2 reds and a white.
Ah.
So you definitely want to match something with the weightiness of the dish as well. So we're starting with the Sebastiani. It's a Zinfandel from Sonoma, California. This one's a little lighter in alcohol. It's 14% as opposed to some 15, 16 Zinfandels can creep up there. So a little bit of spice in the background, which you expect from a Zin, but nice soft fruit. So it's not going to compete too much with the flavors of the dish.
Right, okay.
Yeah, that's $20, so that's a good price for a Zin. Then we go over to Provence in France. So it's the Ogier, the Héritage Côte d'Iron. So typical. This one has got Grenache, Syrah, Mourvèdre. So a little bit of spice. Rhone wines are typically matched with curries when they're meat curries, but not too much spice, and not too much tannin, a little bit of soft fruit in there. So that one goes well. That one's 18. And then we have the Villa Wolf Gewürztraminer. This is from Mosel, Germany. A little bit of residual sugar, so it's going to be nice with the spice. We always think of a little bit of sugar with spicy dishes. And Gewürztraminer is known as the spicy grape.
Yes, of course.
So it kind of makes sense to have that, but not too sweet as well. So still going to be a nice match with the lamb.
Well, I admire you for choosing the Gewürztraminer to go with this dish. That's a little outside the box, a little too far outside the box for me, because I'm kind of a classic type guy. You know, I think of lamb, I think of a nice red wine.
Exactly, yeah.
So I'm going to go with the Zin because I like the idea of the soft fruit and low alcohol. That's good. Okay? Awesome. So thank you very much.
Pleasure. Enjoy, Karl.
A final drizzle of our curried mint sauce on there to go with our breaded lamb chops, our medley of vegetables. So let's go and visit Glen and Karl in the dining room and see if they've wrote another novel.
There we are, a nice drop of red for you, Glen. Man, oh man, these chops look delicious.
Absolutely, nice and golden brown.
Let's have a little taste here. I like the idea that they've been breaded. There's something about breadcrumbs and meat.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're absolutely correct about that.
That curry sauce really makes a difference.
Yeah, with the mint in it.
First time I've had curry sauce with lamb chops that way.
Very good.
Yeah.
Very tender too.
Yeah.
Very tender.
Excellent.
Good job, Glen.
I do what I can.
I want to ask you about. I've been dipping into Last Witness, and it's a great read, you know. But I have noticed that there's so much detail there about the different countries, and it's all written with such authenticity.
Yeah.
You must have done a tremendous amount of research.
It's funny that what kind of picture you can draw with just a few words, you know, and that whole saying "less is more" is especially true when you're writing fiction. Yeah. And while you might have the impression that an incredible amount of detail has painted this picture, in fact, if you look more closely, you might find that it's just a few words placed in the right place in the right way.
Yeah.
And you know, in terms of research, to be honest with you, Occasionally I would head to the internet to find out the color or name of a plant or whatever. That was about it.
So you didn't actually travel to Dallas and go to the museum there and
not yet.
just to get the feel of the place?
Yeah, many times Cuba. Everybody's been to Cuba, but Dallas, Texas.
Well, I haven't actually.
No, okay. Well, go. Dealey Plaza. I wanted to go to Dealey, but I didn't. But, you can paint the picture of Dealey Plaza. You can paint the picture of what happened there through careful placement of fiction.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, what the joy of it for me is being able to paint these pictures. And I appreciate your characterization as,
Well, well, not only that, though. I mean, for example, there's dialogue in this book, and probably in Angels of Maradona, which I haven't been privileged to read yet, but I will. There's dialogue in Spanish. Now, there is English translation, but, do you speak Spanish?
No, I don't. That's, careful choices on the internet in terms of how you use translation services. And I kept the Spanish to a minimum just to add an authenticity to the characterization, to the dialogue, and that kind of thing.
Well, certainly
just a touch here and there, just to keep it going, basically.
Yeah, well, fabulous work, I've got to say. Just want to ask you briefly about your career in journalism.
My day job.
Your day job, yeah. You and I go back to roughly. I think I'm a little bit before you, but roughly the same time. But I chose to stay here, but you chose to move to the mainland, and you ended up in Ottawa and Calgary, I think. Eventually.
Halifax and Ottawa and Calgary.
Was that something you felt you needed to do to kind of further the career?
I think so. I think so. I think it was as a young journalist I decided to jump onto this path and follow it and see where it led. And it led to 3 or 4 different TV stations across the country, and it was a great learning experience. But when it came time to make the decision to come home, it was the right decision.
Yeah.
And there was an opportunity there.
It was an opportunity.
It's interesting you hear that over and over and over from Newfoundlanders. There's something that pulls you back. It's like in The Godfather.
I try to get out, they're pulling me back. But, and it was a great opportunity. Thanks to Scott and Jeff Sterling for providing the opportunity. And I grabbed it because I'd been wanting for years to come home and had the opportunity, and man, it was the best thing I ever did.
Just very quickly, do you have in mind at some point to set one of your novels in Newfoundland, or?
Yes, but I won't maybe not identify it as Newfoundland, but it will be Newfoundland. It'll be. I actually have an idea for one.
The essence will be there.
The essence, exactly.
And we've had more than the essence of Glen Carter on the show today. It's been delightful having you, Glen.
Thank you very much.
All the best to you with your career and your writing.
Thank you very much.
And we'll be back right after this with Chef Adam Gallup of Saltwater Restaurant, who's going to do an appetizer for us. Well, Saltwater on Duckworth Street is a restaurant, as the name implies, where you can certainly order a fish appetizer or a seafood main. But you can also order a variety of meat dishes and even a vegetarian option. All of the chefs at Saltwater Restaurant are well versed in many styles of cookery. But our guest today, I think, has a soft spot in his heart for French cuisine. And we're very pleased to welcome Adam Gollop to One Chef, One Critic. Nice to see you.
Thank you so much. Glad to be here.
So, what are you going to do for us?
We're going to make a little pot. Pot-au-feu.
A pot-au-feu.
A pot-au-feu, monsieur.
So let's go ahead then.
That's right. I mean, look at what we've got right here. We've got some nice smoky sausage. We've got some nice cured bacon, my favorite. So some shallots, some root vegetables. We've got nice seafood, des fruits du mer, some mussels, some lobster, beautiful halibut.
Oh,
I know, hey.
And so let's get started.
That's exactly it. So this is like a quick lunch thing for me. Is what I'll make up for myself. I mean, it's something you can make hearty for supper, or you can just easily make a small one. Oh, careful your face there, my friend.
Yeah.
Don't get too close. The sausage here, some bacon. Careful for your fingers, of course.
So what is pot? Is it
the pot is it's something that used to do. It's a very old dish. It used to be used usually with like a braising type of meat. Whereas you would simply before the miracle of refrigeration, they would use the fat cap from the cooked product to seal it off.
Oh,
so
right.
You can keep it longer, right?
Yep.
So I guess it's probably what we would call a stew.
Essentially, sir, potage soup. It's all soup when it boils down, if you ask me.
Yeah.
Nice little bit of color on our meats here for a quick second.
Yeah.
And it won't be long before we can just add some vegetables. Now, what's great about this dish is, like I said, you can leave it in the oven for as long as you need. If you want to make it for supper,
Yes,
the family,
yeah.
wait till they're seated and just pop it out,
Yep.
just like that.
Another
1, 2,
French
3.
dish that I like, Adam, is a cassoulet.
Oh,
This
cassoulet.
kind of reminds me of that in a
fantastic.
way.
Yes, indeed, you're right.
Yeah.
So as well as that protein in there, what kind of fish
Some
is that?
protein. That's a halibut.
Oh, halibut. Okay.
Yeah, that's our halibut fish right there.
Yeah.
And we're just going to go right away with veg. We're not even going to hesitate with this. Boom, because we can give this as much time as we need in the oven.
Yeah.
Now, I love this stuff right here, Savoy cabbage. One of my
Cabbage. Oh, my
favorites.
goodness.
Yes,
Yeah.
indeed.
Yeah.
I'm going to put some mussels right on the bottom here to get those started. It'll also give it some height once you get it going.
Absolutely.
Once they open up, it'll pop it right up. I'm going to start with
Those
some-
almost look like wild mussels. Are they the wild ones or?
No, they're cultivated. They're cultivated.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
The lobster, my favorite, once again. I'm just going to put a couple of little pieces of my favorite root veg, something that just to brighten it up. The color is what it's all about. You know, look how inviting it can be. Just
already.
with a few things.
This is very important, isn't it? It should be closed.
Oh God, yes, they should be
Yeah.
cold. Have a little tiny bit of weight to them as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
And just a little touch of bay. We're gonna put a bit of we'll get some fennel in there too for you, chef.
Yeah.
So you can get that smell as well. Now over here we've got some beautiful halibut stock that I had quickly made. It only takes about a half an hour. If you have any type of fish bones or any type of fish remains, fish fat too is fantastic. I'm gonna just throw some celery.
And if
in
you're
there.
rich, you don't even have to use bones. You can just put the halibut in.
That's exactly right.
Make a stock from
For
that.
us
That'd be the best stock
Now, here we
of
go.
all.
Here we go. Now this is it. You see that? Just
Oh, my goodness.
It's almost immediately started. Okay, just enough there to cover some of the bottom. I'm just gonna add an extra mussel just for some.
I can really see the colours coming through there, that's for sure.
Now we're just gonna brighten this up really quickly. Just a nice lemon. Now you can do this with anything, with beef, pork. I mean, multitude of fish. It's just a really comforting home type dish.
Absolutely.
Anybody can do this at home.
I really like the cast iron pot.
You like it? Yeah, and that's probably essential. A nice cast iron, heavy bottom, so you can get the sear, and you can do it all in one pot, right? That's the idea. And then a little.
You better take that pot with
flavor.
you when you leave.
That's right,
He'll
yeah.
keep it. He'll keep it. It's terrible.
I know. These things are gorgeous. And we'll just put some more aromatics in there for us. And we've got everything in there. Yes, we do.
Yeah.
And now we're just going to give it a quick season. Not too much. Not too much salt, just to get it through the broth. A little bit of pepper. And we'll just close it off.
So can you finish cooking it there, or do you have to put it in the oven?
Now you can put this in the oven. Now, if you were starting with all raw ingredients, like something that need to be cooked a bit longer, like beef, or something that need to denature a little while, of course, you can cook it in the oven for about 45 minutes.
So I just happen to have cooked one.
God.
And look, just tell me, how did I do?
Oh my goodness.
Oh, that's what I'm talking about. So smell that seafood. Yeah, absolutely. Look at those mussels. They look great. And a nice smoky sausage. You can smell that, hey?
I can smell the sausage, yeah. I'm just going to quickly have a taste here of this.
That broth,
Well, actually, I'll try the broth, because that's probably the easiest thing.
All the flavors get into it,
yeah.
Beautiful.
Oh, yeah, that's lovely.
Amazing.
Beautiful mixture of everything that's in that pot. Love it.
Something like that, maybe 5, 10, 15 minutes in the
That's
oven.
all,
Once you've got all this
exactly.
done
Once
like
you have
this,
some hot stock on there, exactly. It goes really quickly.
Adam, thanks for being on the show today.
Oh, my pleasure.
Lovely having you.
Thank you so much.
And that's it for this edition of
One Chef.
One Critic. Yeah.
Well, let me have a go.
Oh,
That's,
nice seasonal stuff. Whatever's in
sensational.
season, you can just add
Really,
to
no,
it.
really is.
Anytime, you
Yeah.
get something nice to showcase something.
Yeah.
Is really what it
And,
is. It's a good showcase.
That looks like the cover of a
look at that.
cookbook.
That looks
photograph
perfect.
looks like the
That
cover
looks
of a
perfectly
cookbook.
cooked, eh? And the moisture, you'll never
that fresh
overcook
halibut,
it.
yeah.
You'll never overcook it. It's
And you can
something
tell the
nice
difference
to
with
it.
that fresh halibut. It's not woody or anything like that.
I'm not going to go with the Gewürztraminer.
You blew it. You're making too much racket. Come here. Come here, you little squirt.
You're supposed to clap in an audience, not